All right, I know what I mostly talk about on this channel is e-commerce and like basically just overall mindset stuff, but like I can't help but wrap my head around the fact that like there's so many people on this planet who have no idea how to get in shape, but most importantly, stay in shape. Okay, now I think staying in shape is a different conversation because getting in shape first is arguably the most important thing. So, really, what it comes down to is it comes down to repeatable processes that you can do over time that will also scale with your lifestyle. And I know it's crazy because I'm like reverting to business here, but I mean, hold on for a second, right? Think about it this way. It doesn't matter if you're traveling from United States to Japan, and it doesn't matter if you're working a 9 to 5, and it doesn't matter if you don't have a job whatsoever. Every single person on the planet, if they truly wanted to get in shape, can work out 3 days a week. 1000%. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's almost a guarantee in any realm. You can 100% squeeze in 3 days per week. Now, where the hard part comes in is finding that time. And I would argue that it's really not that hard because if you again, think about it logically, all you need is 1 hour. Everybody has an hour, whether it be in the morning, whether it be midday, or after work at night, right? You have an hour. So once you can find a way to squeeze that into your schedule, bang, you're good. You have the hardest part down, which is actually going to the fucking gym, right? 3 days a week is all you need. Now, next part, the nutrition. I would actually argue now that I realize it, that nutrition is number one, by far the most important thing that you could ever have, that you could ever lock in on. And it really comes down to one variable, knowing the amount of calories that you need to eat each day. If you want to be if you want to lose weight, you need to be in about a 300 to 450 calorie deficit. If you want to gain weight, you can be in anywhere between a 200 to a 400 calorie surplus every day. And if you want to maintain the exact same weight, kind of do what I do on a daily basis, you can gain and essentially just kind of be in a slight surplus of like maybe 60 to 150 calories per day, or just eat it exactly maintenance. Now, here's the thing. Counting calories is by far the most important thing for one reason and one reason only. It's a numbers game. Okay, everyone thinks that it's the carbs. Everyone thinks that it's the type of foods. No, you can eat McDonald's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. As long as you eat the right amount of calories of that McDonald's, you will not get fat. And you can certainly lose weight if you're still in a deficit. So best possible way is to find like how many calories you should be eating. Like for example, I'm right now, I think I'm 201 pounds. So let's just say 201 pounds. You want to multiply that by 15. So what that's going to do is give me 3,015 calories. That's my exact maintenance calories. If I want to lose weight, like I'm trying to cut up right now, I would subtract anywhere between like, I don't know, 300 to 500 calories. I think right now I'm doing like a 400 calorie deficit. So like realistically every day I'm eating somewhere between 2,500 calories to like 2,600 calories, right around there. Now, calories are great for getting like lean, like losing weight, but you got to make sure you're eating enough protein, right? So that's where I would go right back to the same equation, like 201 pounds. I would multiply it personally by 0.8 grams of protein. So that means 160 grams of protein each day at 201 pounds body weight. I need to be eating personally for me. I'm somewhere between like 170, 180 every day. Doesn't matter what weight I am. Okay, so a little bit higher than 0.8. Now, what that's going to do is make sure I get the most out of my workouts. It's going to make sure I get the most out of my fat loss protocol for the next like 3 months, for example. Now, second order of business is making sure that I eat enough carbs. For me, 4 servings of rice every day with at least 2.5 servings of fruit every day. If I hit those numbers right there, bang, I'm good with carbs. I'm going to be chilling. All right, very, very simple, very, very easy. Now, I think another hard part for most people, the third part of this really, it comes down to like putting together the workouts, putting together nutrition, but making sure you eat the same exact things every day because that just makes it easier. But also like staying consistent long enough. That's something that I've struggled with long term because like what I'll do is I'll be ripped, I'll be lean in the summer for like a month. And then what happens is I slowly but surely start to pack on the extra stomach fat. I'm like, fuck dude, fuck this. I hate that shit. So really what it comes down to is getting in shape, finding your system that's going to get you into shape for the first time, but then finding a way to make it sustainable over time, right? So what that means is like still going out to eat. What it means is like still eating relatively the same things, but like not being so militant on staying in such a calorie deficit. Bro, if you just eat at maintenance and you push off those hunger, like drive, those hunger thoughts, you push off that like boredom eating, you push off that boredom snacking, you push off the pointless alcohol, which I would argue, as long as you factor it in there, it doesn't really matter for the cows. As long as you can find a way to stay in the right mindset that's going to keep you lean, that's going to be most important. And that's the hardest part for most people. It truthfully is, right? And I know I've battled with the ups and downs of that, but I think the biggest secret, the absolute biggest secret, is just making sure that if you do have a day that you go over, you go right back to a deficit the next day, right? Because you're not going to do an over, like you're not going to binge eat like 4 days in a row and just be like, fuck, man, I don't know why I'm gaining weight. No. Once you master calorie counting, like you're going to be able to make sure that you get back into where you should be when you need to be there. So if you have a day where you go off, you eat like freaking 4,000 calories when you're supposed to only eat 3,000, bro, just have a light day the next day. Have a light day the next day and be locked in the next 3 days. You know what I mean? And then you go back to maintenance, you be chilling. Right? Maybe work out 4 times that week, 5 times that week instead of 3. Maybe you go for a 10,000 step walk 4 times that week because you know you went off. But really it comes down to actually wanting it and actually staying in that mindset that you know is going to keep you lean. Because that's really all it is. The body is just a reflection of the internal thoughts that you have in your own mind. If your thoughts are gluttony, if your thoughts are sugar, if your thoughts are dopamine, if your thoughts are booze, well, your body's going to reflect that. But if your thoughts are really, really like just locked in upon discipline, around consistency, around focus, around that dream physique, that long-term vision, then your body's going to reflect that. It just comes down to actually understanding that when you are hungry, you might just be bored. When you are hungry, you might just be craving dopamine. And if you just flip the script in your own mind on that and stay consistent for long enough, it's going to eventually become who you are as a man, who you are as an entity, who you are as a mindset, as an energy. And again, your body's going to reflect that. Everyone thinks it's the food. No, it's your thought process about the food. It's your thought process about how much food you're going to eat that day. It's your thought process about whether or not you're bored, how disciplined you're going to be. And that's just a choice that's going to be that much easier to make if you see a longer term vision of yourself. The version of you in October 6, 2026, 2027, 2028. Big difference. Big difference. It comes down to short-term gratification and long. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's certainly simple. 100%. It just comes down to finding the right plan, the right program, and the right system that matches your lifestyle and your mindset. Once you find that, you're off to the races. Hopefully that helped. I will see you guys next video.